Hey there, and welcome to No Recipe Required. I'm Dave. Tonight I'm going to show you how to do a spaghetti and fava bean recipe, flavored with a little bit of scallion or spring onion, a little bacon, some garlic in there. It's really an awesome spring pasta. If you don't have fava beans, by the way, this works really well with asparagus as well. Let's go ahead and show you how to do it. Okay, let's go ahead and shell some fava beans. This is the the pod. They're big. They're a little scary looking. They obviously come small. These are pretty large ones, but come this time of year, they're in a lot of grocery stores and they're absolutely delicious. You clean them similar to pea pods. You can think of them as giant pea pods. There's a stem end. You can kind of just break that off on the back, and frequently you'll get that string comes down right down the center, and then they open up pretty easily. And you get these pods, these little beans that come out of the pods. They'll be anywhere from half a dozen or so, 5 or 6 little beans in there. You go ahead and you do this to all your beans. Now we're actually not done, which kind of makes fava beans a little bit difficult to deal with. But once you get all these out, there's a process you go through. We're going to boil these off. There's actually this is another shell or another outside layer. It's pretty soft, but not real tasty. We want to take that off. Easiest way to get them off is just to parboil them or blanch them for a few minutes, then cool them down. Those skins kind of pop right off. Once I get these done, I'll show you how to do it. Okay, so I've got my fava beans that we took out of the pods. I'm just going to drop them in a pot of boiling salted water, and this is going to loosen up that outside skin, so to a point where we can pull them off. You don't want to overcook them. I'm just going to let these go for about 1.5 minutes, then pull them off. I'm going to have a strainer ready, and then we'll run them under cold water to shock them and stop that cooking process. Okay, after your beans have boiled for a couple minutes, you're going to take them out of the water, drain them well. You can pat them dry, but it's not super important. And then you're going to peel them. Here I've got the peeled fava beans, and you can see without that shell, they've got that nice brighter green color. Easiest way to do this, let me find a good one here. So the fava beans, they have on the top and the bottom, they're kind of kidney shaped. They've got the smooth side, and they've got the side with this, I don't even know what it's called, a little groove on it, black groove. I like to go to the top side, opposite that, and the skin is now loosened up from the boil, and just tear it a little bit, and then with a little squeeze at the bottom, they kind of pop right out. And after you do a few, you can get pretty quick at them. It is, it's a slightly tedious process, but I think it's worth it. They're absolutely delicious, and if you got time to do, you can time to kill. You can easily do them ahead of time. You can do this a couple hours ahead of time, even sitting in front of the TV while you're not doing much of anything. Okay, let's go ahead and start our fava bean pasta with just a little bit of pancetta or bacon. This is probably 1.5 to 2 slices worth. I've got it in a just heating up pan, and I'm going to saute it over medium heat. I like to add just maybe half a teaspoon of olive oil just to help that bacon get started. And we're going to render it down. It's going to release its fatty, delicious goodness, get nice and crispy, and then we're going to go ahead and add our other ingredients. Okay, my bacon is now rendered out, nice and crispy. And I'm going to add 2 garlic cloves that I've just chopped up finely, along with a shallot or half a shallot. And I've got the heat real low here because I don't want to burn the bacon. My pasta is in the water cooking, and I'm just going to let these soften up. Add a little bit of salt. Now you got to be a little careful with the salt when you're using bacon because you don't quite know how salty the bacon could be. We can always add a little bit more later. We're going to taste as we go. Once the garlic and onions soften up a little bit, we'll come back, add our other ingredients, and our pasta will hopefully be cooked. If it's not cooked, just kind of slow things down over on this side, and then you can time it better. Once our garlic and shallot are softened, I'm going to add those fava beans and just bring these back up to temperature. Now, I think I told you before you can do them early. I did do them early, and I just kept them in the fridge. So it's important to get them, like I said, back up to temperature, and then once they're there, they're going to get nice and soft because they're mostly cooked now. We're actually going to crush a couple of these, and that's going to help kind of form a bit of a thicker sauce when we add some chicken stock, add some other herbs into here. So we'll come back in just a couple minutes. Okay, our fava beans are nicely up to temperature. So like I said, we're going to just take a few and crush them. I've got a fork here. It doesn't, you don't have to get them super fine, but just press down, and they're going to some of them are just going to kind of form a little bit of a paste or a puree. Keep them moving a little bit so they don't stick to the bottom. And out of this many, I'm probably going to get 7 or 8 in that little pureed state. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then once we've got it there, I'm going to add a little bit of chicken stock, probably a third of a cup, and deglaze the pan. So here's our chicken stock. I like to use the low sodium chicken stock. That way I can control the salt content that's in the recipe. And I'm just going to let this stock reduce down by about half. Okay, my chicken stock has reduced by half. I'm about to go drain my pasta, but before I do, I'm going to add some chopped scallion. Give that a little toss, just because it needs a good minute or so to cook. And then we'll drain our pasta, add it right into this. Okay, here we go with our spaghetti. I happen to be using a nice thick spaghetti. But you can use this with normal spaghetti. You can use it with almost any pasta, really. Give it a nice toss. Get that sauce kind of all coated with the pasta. Give it a little seasoning, salt and pepper. I also like to finish this pasta off with a little knob of butter, probably a 3/4 of a tablespoon, and then I also throw in some crushed almonds, pine nuts, any kind of nut would be really nice in this, and then just some coarsely chopped basil as well. Kind of gives it a nice little herby flavor. We're going to toss this all together, and really, that basil in there will just cook on its own with just the heat there. I'm going to kill the heat. If it ever looks a little bit dry, and this one does look a touch dry, I'm just going to add maybe a tablespoon of that pasta water in. Finish it with a little bit of Parmesan cheese, a little squeeze of lemon, and let's go plate it up. Okay, after we taste our pasta, season it, re-season it if it needs it. We're going to go ahead and plate it nice and high in our pasta bowl. Make sure you scrape around the outside. Get everybody their fixins, their nuts, their fava beans in there. And then we clean up the plate, and we're good to go with our fava bean spaghetti. And I'll see you next time on No Recipe Required.